on it, let's just raise rates. So,
Whether
I think you don't want to be behind the eight ball on this one, and the Fed has to maintain credibility, and I think it's time to raise rates. Normality is a good thing, not a bad thing. An economy that's going on like this for 7 years is a good thing, not a bad thing. So to me, the return to normal is a good thing, and the rate itself, gets much more psychological attention than the actual economic effect of raising rates.
So you would say raising in September or December doesn't make that much difference?
Yeah, I go sooner rather than later, but I'll leave the comment up to them. And they've made it clear that they're going to raise rates, and they kind of see the white of their eyes. And they see the economy is strong enough, and so I'll let them look at all the factors and decide what the right time is. So.
Okay, so I think we've made some news, but the markets are probably going to move now. So, well, let's suppose there's, in a few months we're going to have a president.
I should remind the folks in this room, right now we kind of tell you what's going to happen. We forecast it going forward. We get to look at the dots of where all the Fed governors think. Paul Volcker raised rates in between meetings on a Sunday night, 200 basis points. And, so there are other ways to do this. You don't have to be so telling you everything's going to happen. You cannot make that which is uncertain certain. And we should stop trying to do that.
Okay, so let's suppose the next president of the United States were to call you and say, Jamie, you are a leader in the financial service community. I'd like your advice. What would you advise the next president to do to get the economy growing at a better clip?
So there are serious issues the country has. And I do think that the next president, if they focus on the issues, and they're not Republican or Democrat, they're not left or right, they're the issues that we kind of talk about, we know about. So immigration, I spent a lot of time on. Schumer and Kane already had a fabulous bill which would be passed. TPP would be positive for GDP, it would be positive for wages, it would be positive for the average American. It has negatives which have to be recognized with this trade assistance. So I'm a big believer in get the trade deal done, but acknowledge that it actually hurts some people, and give income assistance, redevelopment, relocation, retraining, so those hurt by it can be made better. Inner city school education is a disgrace. We should be ringing an alarm bell. Over 50% of the kids in inner city schools do not graduate, and even those who do are not necessarily qualified to have a job. And schools and those who create jobs should work together to make sure that that certificate, whether it's high school, vocational, or community college, or college, ends up in a job. Not just we have more tax reform. We're driving American capital and American businesses overseas every day. This inversion problem is also making it advantageous, believe it or not, for foreign companies to buy American companies, for foreign companies to invest here, more than for American companies to buy American companies, for American companies to invest here. So it's a little more complicated. Now, I also agree that you're not going to have corporate tax without individual. And I would propose something like a greatly expanded earned income tax credit. You've been reading a lot about infrastructure. The Democrats are right. We need more infrastructure. Like you're talking about $100 to $150 billion more a year, which is almost a drop in the bucket. And I'm talking about transportation, tunnels, bridges, roads, airports. The Republicans are right when they're afraid of just raising taxes to do more government spending. And they just hear that great sucking sound of Washington, bridges to nowhere, more crony capitalism. This is a perfect place to get the people in the room, ask the Republicans, how can we do this in a way that you would approve it, that we're building the bridges we actually need. I believe the president took care of all those things. Like I said, not Democrat or Republican, the economy would be booming. I don't believe this argument that secular stagnation is permanent, savings gluts. We'd be booming. We're not booming because of all of the issues that we've self-created. And that's slow down growth, and it's time for them to do something to make it. And by the way, wages growth will fix wage inequality. And the studies show that cutting corporate taxes will help wage equality, make it better. So we should be very thoughtful about policy that we get it right and not just over-politicize. We really damage ourselves if we do that.
Suppose the next president, I'm hearing this, you said, that's a pretty good